Hi, sixth graders. Does anyone remember what we learned last week? It was God provides. I hope you all did your assignment and answer the questions too. Today, we're going to learn about the tribes of Israel. So God called Abraham and formed a nation through him. You all remember Abraham was the father of faith, right? So God protected this nation through Isaac, the son of Abraham, and then his son, Jacob. The people of God grew through the 12 sons of Jacob. God changed the name of Jacob to Israel, and then the people of God began to be called the Israelites. The tribes of Israel were known after the names of the 12 sons of Jacob. Let's talk about Jacob for a little bit. Now, Jacob received blessings from his father. Technically, it was not him who was supposed to receive the blessings. It was supposed to be his brother Esau. Unfortunately, Jacob tricked his father and stole the blessings that Esau was supposed to get. And since he did that bad thing, he had to flee to Haran to go to his maternal uncle Laban. There, he ended up marrying Leah and Rachel, the daughters of Laban. He then had 12 sons and a daughter, and out of all his 12 sons, he loved Joseph the most. The sons of Jacob were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Joseph, and Benjamin. Now in Jacob's old age, he blessed Ephraim and Manasseh, who were the sons of Joseph. All the tribes were known under the sons of Jacob, except for Joseph, which was known as Ephraim and Manasseh. Israel from Egypt to the land of Canaan. The people of Israel were under slavery in Egypt for 430 years. Moses was the chosen one to help the people be delivered from slavery. So they journeyed to Canaan under the leadership of Moses. Before entering the promised land, they wandered in the wilderness for 40 long years. Unfortunately, Moses was not able to lead the people to the promised land. He then appointed Joshua as his successor. The 12 tribes together crossed the river Jordan under the leadership of Joshua. To commemorate the miraculous crossing of River Jordan, the people of God planted 12 stones as memorial slabs under the instruction from the Lord to signify all the tribes crossed together. Israel conquering the land of Canaan, and Jericho is where we see the manifestation of God's power. The Lord brought his people into the promised land. Now they had a task set before them, and that was to conquer the people living in the land. The first city the Israelites came to was Jericho. The city of Jericho had an impenetrable, mighty wall protecting it that no army could overcome. God then told Joshua that he had handed the city over to Israel. The Lord's reputation went ahead of the Israelites, creating fear in the people of Jericho. With the exception of a woman, Rahab, the people of Jericho wanted nothing to do with God. Joshua then sent 2 spies into Jericho to see what it was like. Rahab hid the spies sent by Joshua and helped them to escape when the king was searching for them. God instructed Joshua to lead the people of Israel to march around the city one time each day for 6 days. On the 7th day, they would march around the city 7 times, and the priest would blow the trumpets. All the people would shout, and the walls of Jericho would fall down. Joshua then gave the people specific instructions to destroy everything in the city except for Rahab and her family. The Israelites were not to keep anything for themselves. When the Israelites attacked Jericho, God spared Rahab and her family. The impenetrable wall of Jericho that no army could conquer ended up falling down by the mighty power of God. God is mightier than any army. He is mightier than any person or anything. Israel in the land of Canaan. The Israelites conquered the land under the leadership of Joshua. Joshua then divided the land among the 11 tribes of Israel. But there were 12 tribes, but the tribe of Levi did not get any share because they were the priestly tribe. The people of Israel shared a portion of their share to the tribe of Levi. Ephraim and Manasseh received the land instead of Joseph. The tribe of Judah received the largest portion of the land. People to a nation. We know that God had guided the Israelites through different people at first. They were people like Abraham, Moses, and Joshua, who ended up leading the Israelites into the promised land. After the death of Joshua, the next group was the judges who led the Israelites. After the judges, there were priests, prophets, and then finally it was the kings who led the Israelites. Saul was the first king, and then after Saul was David, and then Solomon. So the Israelites were united, and then when Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, became king, the tribes of Judah and Benjamin formed the country of Judah, and then the other tribes formed Israel, so they were split into two. The tribes had a decisive influence in the history of Israel. So the number 12 itself has a great significance in the history of salvation. The number 12 signifies the perfection of the people of God. Some interesting facts on the number of 12 in the Bible. The number 12 is used in 187 places in the Bible. The number 12 signifies the perfection and authority. It also shows up in the book of Revelation 22 times. We all know there were 12 tribes in Israel. And then, of course, Jesus chose 12 disciples who later became the 12 apostles. The New Jerusalem, which descends out of heaven, has 12 gates made of pearl, which are manned by 12 angels. In Revelation 21:12, we read about this. Each of the gates has been named after one of the 12 tribes of Israel. In the third Goma of the night prayer, we remember Moses and the 12 tribes of Israel. As Moses engraved the names of the 12 tribes on the stone slab, we also remember our departed ones and their names written in the book of life.
Blessed are those who departed, for him praise are offered here. They will be remembered above in heaven. On stone pieces Moses wrote the names of all people. In God's presence done for the people's remembrance. Record their names in churches and write their names in heaven. In the holy book of life, write the names of departed. Rejoice with the Messiah when he comes in his glory.
God blessed the 12 tribes whenever they cooperated with God. Just like that, we should cooperate with God to receive the blessings in our daily lives. We should obey God and listen to His Word. Let's take a few minutes to memorize our Bible verse. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Psalm 46, verse 1. Let's always remember in times of trouble, we can turn to our God to help us and give us strength. Your questions to think about today from this lesson. How many tribes are there in Israel? Which are they? What is the reason why memorial slabs were planted when Israel crossed River Jordan? Why was the tribe of Levi not given their own land? And finally, how did Israel enter the land of Canaan under the leadership of Joshua? I know you know these answers. Review your lesson and you'll be able to find them. So let's talk about your activity for this lesson. We read the walls of Jericho collapsed before the eyes of the people of Israel by the mighty power of God. What I want you to do is write down an experience of God's miraculous intervention by the power of faith and prayer in yours or your parents' life or in the life of someone you know. And then think about that experience. Okay, 6th graders, that's our class for today. Make sure you memorize your Bible verse, review the lesson and answer the questions, as well as complete your assignment for next week. We'll see you then. Take care and God bless. Okay, kids, read your lesson, learn your Bible verse, and have a good week, guys. God bless.